Hello everybody, welcome to the United Stand. This is your Manchester United transfer update as well as Ole Gunnar Solskjaer press conference reaction for Manchester City against Manchester United. And if you're watching live, I apologise, but I'm in shock. I'm actually in shock here. I had to go and double check that I wasn't in my tiredness and fatigue of this transfer window missing out on something here that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer had just said on his press conference. I'm stunned. I thought, was I imagining it? I don't think I was imagining it. I think that this is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer telling us that Manchester United will be recalling Alexis Sanchez in the summer and keeping him at Manchester United. So I'm stunned is the word. I'm absolutely stunned by what Ole Gunnar Solskjaer said. I mean, look, there is a Bruno Fernandes update to come. Of course, but Ole Gunnar Solskjaer will keep, has said that, sorry for the visuals, we've got some problems today as well. Sorry for that. Alexi will come back in the summer and prove you all wrong. I mean, I don't really think it's worth talking about what he said in the press conference, and I don't think it's worth talking about signings. I'm just absolutely stunned. I can't believe he actually said it. There was a story in the Daily Star this morning that we're going to recall Alexis Sanchez back and give him a chance at United. And it was dismissed. Like, even Manchester Evening News just dismissed it and went, why would they know anything about it? Why would, he's done nothing under Solskjaer. He's injury prone. Why would he come back to Manchester United? It just makes absolutely no sense. And then Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, in the last few minutes, has said, Alexi will come back in the summer and prove you all wrong. I mean, I'm hoping it's some sort of joke, but that would be massively demeaning to a footballer who we pay 300 grand a week to and he's not even here. I mean, I'm just on the floor. I don't think this club can kick its fans anymore. I don't think we can be kicked any more than this. Alexis Sanchez will come back and prove us wrong. I mean, I'm almost like, should he not be sacked for that statement right there? I mean, it just shows a total lack of coherence and management ability. I mean, Alexis Sanchez is done. We've seen him at United over a year ago. Done. Absolutely done as a footballer in the Premier League. And we're going to bring him back in August and give him another chance when he'll be coming up for 32. I mean, I can't even, if I hadn't checked Twitter before I went live and checked what Simon Peach said on his Twitter, confirming what I thought I heard, I cannot believe it. I can't believe what he's just said. I cannot get my head around it. Alexis Sanchez will be back in the summer and prove you all wrong. I mean, what that translates to is we are done as a football club. Like, we are done. If we think Alexis Sanchez is the answer to our problems, I mean, you may as well just walk out the door, Ollie. I mean, I'm really confused. I'm hoping we're going to get some clarity on that. I'm hoping, but how can it be a joke? How can it be a joke? How can you be joking? Because that would be so disrespectful, and Ollie's not like that. But how can it? I just don't get my head around. I can't get my head around it. I can't. I'm stunned. I'm trying to think about it on the hop. I had to take 5 minutes before I went live. I can't figure it out. I can't figure it out. So we've got a manager who's told us for ages that there's money there at the right price, the right player, whatever. We won't be able to ransom, whatever. The money's there. We're building something for the future. We want players here that are hungry to be here, that want to better themselves at Manchester United. We're building something. In the future, we're going to be great. And we're going to bring back a player who doesn't want to be here, who forced a loan move in the summer, who's on ridiculous money, who's finished, and we're going to give him another chance. I mean, we may as well just pack up. Like, what's the bloody point? What is the message? What is the message at Manchester United at the moment? I don't get what the message is. Because everything we've been told, for the last 6 months, we've been told, yeah, expect a few more ups and downs, but in the future, we're going to be really good. And now we're bringing Alexis Sanchez back and giving him another chance, because basically we can't get rid of him, let's be honest. Oh, it makes you just want to throw up. I just feel sick. I was right there writing the notes for the press conference, and he said it, and I went, rewind. He did. I'm not hallucinating. He did say it. Alexis Sanchez will come back in the summer and prove you all wrong. That's our manager. Would rather have Sanchez in July than Ollie. Ollie out, says Gabriel Keyburn. Well, look, there are people out there who do rate him, but Manchester United are now a laughing stock. Get over it, says George88. Well, look, let's talk about some of the other stuff he said. Just on Bruno Fernandes, on the transfer news, let me just say this. Saying Sanchez will come back just means there is no money to replace him, says Ross Gallagher. Well, exactly. I think that's exactly what it means. But just on the transfer update, please do smash a like on the video, by the way. He was asked about Bruno Fernandes, and he basically said it's a wasted question. I've got nothing to tell you about that. I've got no updates on transfers. Nothing to say. We have players who are working to get back. The club are looking at things, but it's hard in this window. We have brought players in the past like Evra and Vidic and Henrik Larsson on loan, but clubs don't want to sell their best players in January. So I don't know. I mean, look, on Bruno Fernandes, let me just bring that in. The Portuguese press feel that this is getting really close now. The Sporting Lisbon manager last night said that he doesn't know whether Bruno Fernandes will go or not. He doesn't know whether that was his last game or not. Obviously, they're going to resent losing him because he's such a good player. It could have been his last game last night. There is a stalemate between Manchester United and Sporting Lisbon. It's about the fee, it's about the add-ons. United only want to pay £45 million with add-ons, and Sporting Lisbon want those add-ons to go up to about £60 million. So, look, whether it will get pushed through or not, I don't know. I think we're going in too low. I've said that consistently, but I still do feel we'll get this deal done because I think that we've got to get this deal done. We have to get it done. That's as simple as that. Alexis Sanchez coming back is bloody joke. The board and Ed are just too stubborn to admit he was the worst United signing in the last 30 years. They are clowns. And Ben Dorrington says, money must not be too bad. Young's transfer fee can pay Sanchez wages for a fortnight. We should have signed Aaron Moy for $6 million. Ollie out. And Nick J says, Levy negotiated and completed Bergwijn in 3 days for a fair price. Woodward's taken 7 months to not sign Fernandes. Slimani on loan, 11 PM is all we'll get. Well, let me just talk about that. There is a player, and to top it off, the Saudis are buying Newcastle, says Roy Law. There was some talk. I need to just double check this because I've just had a message coming through, and sometimes these messages can be quite important. But just laughing about this. It wasn't. There is a little bit of talk still about Slimani coming to United as a striker. He's a Leicester reject. I think he's 31. He's a bag of shit, and he's not very good. He's not very good. He's at Monaco. He wants to leave, but Monaco want £4 million. I mean, we could use that £4 million to get Bruno Fernandes, but that obviously makes no sense. We had been linked by David Ornstein, who's a former BBC journalist, very, very good around Arsenal, a bit like Simon Stone is for Manchester United. He's saying that Manchester United have made a late bid for Augustine from Leipzig. I think he's 22. Good prospect, but apparently it's too late that Augustine is impressed with the deal that he's getting with Leeds, and he'll be going to Leeds. So, getting snubbed by young talents for Leeds and bringing back Alexis Sanchez. It's a good old morning at Manchester United. Welcome to it. Didn't he say the same in the summer? Then he went, says Show Central. I mean, look. I don't want to go back on that Alexis Sanchez comment, but if you joined us a little bit late, Alexis Sanchez, this is what Ole Gunnar Solskjaer said this morning. Alexis Sanchez will come back in the summer and prove you all wrong. I cannot compartmentalise or process that statement at all. He's done. We've seen it. We've seen it longer than Ollie. I remember watching Alexis Sanchez last season. I think it was against Crystal Palace. Why don't we just chip in £93 each and buy him, says Irrelevant. I remember watching Alexis Sanchez against Crystal Palace about a year ago. And he went off injured. But I was quite close to the pitch. And Pogba 3 or 4 times played balls for him, which he knew where the ball was going to go, but he just wasn't quick enough to get it. And I think you do see it on the telly. I'm not saying you'd have to go to matches to see that, but because it was on my side of the pitch and I was quite close to the pitch, I really saw what the problem is with Alexis Sanchez and why he flopped at Manchester United and why he was doing badly at Arsenal at the end. He's done in the Premier League. He's lost a yard at least of pace. And for a player like him, he ain't Juan Mata. Juan Mata's slow. He's always been a bit slow. And it is a problem for him, but Mata can still do bits. Alexis Sanchez, requires his pace, his burst of pace to get past the player in them first few yards, and he's lost it. So Ole Gunnar Solskjaer saying Alexis Sanchez can come back to the Premier League and prove people wrong when he's getting very injury prone now. He's 32 this year and he's done in the Premier League. That to me is a scary statement on many levels. One, because it shows if Ole truly believes it, he's no manager. Or two, because the club has got to bring him back because they can't offload him because nobody will touch him. And I always said this about Sanchez. The deal was a bad deal anyway, but the wages were horrific and the contract was stupid. Nobody will buy Alexis Sanchez because he's on 400 grand a week. 400 grand a week. I mean, this, and Woodward's still in a job. 400 grand a week, we play Alexis Sanchez. He's still got 2 or 3 years left on his contract. Who's going to buy him? Nobody. Who's going to pay him the wages? Nobody. So I actually understand why he's coming back in the summer, because we've got no bloody money and we can't offload him. So yeah, I mean that's the worrying thing from that. Sanchez is coming back means we won't be getting Bruno, or we will use Sanchez as a chip to get Bruno in the summer. This also means we won't be signing any players in this summer. Ole will say we are building for next season, says Forever PVM. Look, I can't get angry anymore. I can't rant or rage anymore. My feeling is that this club is going to get worse and worse and worse. I don't think I've said this a few times. I'm not convinced we're at the bottom yet. I still think we've got further to go down. But what irritates me the most is the lies, and I would call them lies because we get when we've had all these bad results this season, we get told that in the future everything's going to get better. We're building for the future. Look at the young lads I got coming through. Look at Mason. Look at McTominay. Okay, that's fine. In the future we're going to be good. But then you bring in Alexis Sanchez back. Like, what? That's totally against. And the biggest thing is, we want players here that want to be at Manchester United. He doesn't want to be here. Alexis Sanchez doesn't want to be here. He forced the loan move in the summer. But you're going to welcome him back with open arms, a player who doesn't even want to be at this bloody club. It's just wrong. It's just wrong. Anyway, let's have a look at what else was spoken about, because we have got a game tomorrow and there's a few things. He was asked if the game is dead and buried against Manchester City, and he said at half-time in the Old Trafford game it was, but that goal has given us a chance, and we've got to go into the memory bank. And he mentioned this game twice. Which game do you think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer mentioned twice? Because he mentioned it twice at different parts of the interview. We've got to go into the memory bank and look at PSG last year and the Etihad when we went in December, and he mentioned PSG again. Now, PSG, two things I want to say about the PSG game. One, brilliant night. I think it's one of the best nights we've had in recent history. But it was a smash and grab. There was nothing tactical about that. It was a smash and grab. PSG, if we played that 100 times, they'd beat us 99. I think, it was a smash and grab. It was the perfect night for us. I don't think tactically we did that good against PSG. It was real smash and grab, hit on the break, sort of counter-attacking football. And it could work against Man City tomorrow, and I hope it does. But Ole goes on about it like it was some sort of tactical masterclass, and it wasn't. It was David against Goliath, wasn't it? That's why we celebrated it so much, because it was just a miracle night, an amazing night. But also, he wasn't even the full-time manager then. So he's using a game from his interim period again that we haven't seen anything like that, apart from the Etihad in December. And I think that's the game he should be talking about. I don't think PSG... I personally don't think he should have mentioned PSG, because I don't think PSG is the one that you want. It's the Etihad in December, where we deserved to win that game. We defended really well, but we were really decisive, and we created a lot of chances in the first half. So I think he's missed a trick there. I think talking about PSG diminishes what we achieved in the league against Man City back in December. That was a much better performance. That's one of our best performances under Ole, because he was full-time manager. He was interim against PSG, and PSG was a smash and grab. Against Man City in December, that we deserved to win that game. That's one of his better performances. Yeah, it was counter-attacking football. Yes, it was very defensive, but it was much better than... It was a much better, exciting performance than the PSG one, which a lot of it, they contributed that to themselves, PSG. Going by Bruno's reaction after Sporting's games last night, it does not seem like this deal is close. Sporting managers does not know if no one knows this deal surely can't be that close, says Jordan. Well, I've said this, Jordan. I think if Bruno Fernandes is going to happen, and I still think it will, If it's going to happen, I think it will happen towards the end of the week. Can you give a moment to remember a young, big United fan, Lewis Holland? He sadly suddenly passed away. Rest in peace, Lewis. That's from Rachel Quinn. I don't know anything about that, Rachel. Sorry for my ignorance, but of course, very, very sad news, and rest in peace to Lewis, who passed away suddenly. Big Manchester United fan, and thoughts with those who knew Lewis from everybody, and I'm sure you'll see that in the live comments as well. Reece Gregory says, I'm going to be successful here, and there are players who are going to be a part of that. Sanchez will be our biggest summer signing. Propaganda, says Reece Gregory. Also, let me just talk about something else. Can we pay 400k a week but not 25k for Gomez or Chong, says Ben Donington. Club's in a mess, mate. I think we all know that. It's old news in a way. No update on transfers, as I said. And also, just on injuries, I mean, it never rains, it snows, it sleets. Matic has a problem, and that's why he came off at half-time. So, you know, the substitution at half-time against Tranmere, where we applauded it and said, get some of the senior players off, and he brought Fred on. Matic was taken off because of injury at half-time against Tranmere. Ollie's words, he's played a lot of football at the moment, and he's felt a slight problem. Exactly. Too much football again in the midfield area. We just do not learn. We don't learn. You can't keep playing people midweek, midweek, weekend, midweek, weekend, midweek, weekend. We can't keep doing it. We will pick up injuries. And we've picked up another one with Matic. Now, there's hope that he'll play tomorrow. But actually, should he be playing tomorrow? You know, he's a doubt for tomorrow with a problem. What if that problem is then worse tomorrow? We haven't got any bloody midfielders. This is the problem. And yet here we are, sat in a transfer window, doing next to nothing. You know, this is why I believe we've got to get that Bruno Fernandes deal done, because we're down to the bare bones. And we're just, you know, he's speaking... A lot of people said, why was Garner and Levitt not part of the squad for Tranmere at the weekend? Because he wants to win the FA Cup. So he goes strong again. But what he doesn't realise is you're using Matic every bloody game. Week in, week out. We're tired. It becomes tiring, doesn't it? Because every bloody thing we're doing at the moment at United is just the wrong decision. Mark, if Sanchez is going to be at United next season, does that mean the club are going to stick with Ollie next season, says Jordan Such? Well... that is the interesting point, isn't it, Jordan? Is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer going to be the manager in the summer? Because I don't know, but I do think we will see Alexis Sanchez back at the club, because I can't see anybody going near him unless we loan him out again. And I think United are just desperate to try and turn this around with him. And I just don't know anymore. I just don't know anymore. I think, you know, you go to bed at night and you think, things can't get much worse with Manchester United, and then you wake up and they actually do. So you know, that Alexis Sanchez statement is just crazy. I couldn't believe my ears. Matic obviously looking like he's carrying an injury now. What a surprise! No major transfer update. We're talking about PSG again like it was one of the greatest nights of our history, when realistically it was nice in isolation. You know, the thing about PSG is we got absolutely done over by Barcelona. No one ever remembers that. It was only the first knockout stage. We got through to the quarterfinals, smash and grab, and got done over big time. So we're talking about PSG like we won the bloody Champions League. It was the fucking first knockout stage of the Champions League. The next round was the quarterfinals. We got done by Barcelona. Like... This is Manchester United now, scraping the barrel, and we're not at the bottom of it yet. But yeah, I'm very... Nothing really phases me in relation to Manchester United, but I'm stunned by that Alexis Sanchez. I don't even know why you would say it. Why would you say that? Why would you? I mean, talk about not understanding the moment, or, you know, not reading a room. I think if you listen I think actually... if you listen back to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's press conference later, when he says Alexis Sanchez will come back in the summer and prove you all wrong, I'm pretty sure a journalist laughs and says, "You what?" Like it was a joke. I might have imagined that bit, but I'm pretty sure that somebody in the room does laugh. Like, And I don't know whether Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was joking. This is the thing. He might have been joking, but why would you joke about a player that's yours that you pay 400 grand a week for? I think he's being serious. I do. Even Arsenal have a good manager and director of football by now, says Khalil Zahul. And I've just told you what he said about Alexis Sanchez, Zubair. So he said, Alexi will come back in the summer and prove you all wrong. That's your latest transfer. Big Z said they laughed and said, excuse me, sorry. So one of the journalists in the room said, excuse me? Because it was such a weird statement. This is why I'm thrown by it, and I'm sure why a lot of you are thrown by it. It was such a weird statement because you don't need to mention that, the club's in jeopardy, turmoil, we're trying to sign players. There was no reason to mention Alexis Sanchez coming back in the summer and proving everybody wrong. He was sort of talking about the January transfer window at the time, saying how it's a really hard transfer market and no one wants to give their good players up. We bought Nemanja, we bought Evra, we got Henrik on loan, Alexi was brought in, and Alexi will come back in the summer and prove you all wrong. And someone just said, excuse me, because it was just such an odd statement to make. And as I said, look at the reaction, look at my reaction, look at your reaction, look at the reaction on social media. He's really dropped another ridiculous line. I mean, it's getting to the point with Ollie now, isn't it? Unfortunately, where every press conference he's dropping lines that even David Moyes would be proud of. Like every press conference, there's a soundbite from Ollie that just you go, what? And I think that one's one of the best yet. Alexis Sanchez will come back and prove us wrong. Look, of course, we would all love Alexis Sanchez to come back and prove us all wrong, but anybody who's watched him play for United, and that was over a year ago. Remember, we've not seen him for a year. He got injured and that was basically it. We've not seen Alexis Sanchez in a United shirt for a year. And we're not going to see him in a United shirt for another 8 months. So that's 18 months by the time he pulls a shirt on again. And we'll say 18 months ago he was crap. So, how is a 32-year-old suddenly going to become good? It's mad. It's absolutely mad. And a lot of people calling Ollie a liar and a fraud and a puppet. They're not nice words to use. They're not nice words to use at all. But unfortunately, when you speak in public, these things can come back and bite you on the backside. And the vision we've had for 6 months is we're building for the future. We want players here who want to be here. We're building something for the future. Well, Ollie, I'm afraid Alexis Sanchez coming back in the summer as a key player, as the most expensive player, he does not fit into that. He doesn't want to be here, and he's not one for the future. If Matic is out tomorrow's game, what will our midfield look like tomorrow, says Jordan Search. I think Matic will play injured tomorrow. And what's the more important game? Is it Man City or Wolves? I'd rather Matic get a couple of days rest and come back for the Wolves game, because I think it's more important that Matic plays in that. But if Matic doesn't play against Man City, I presume he would play Fred and Pereira in the midfield too, with Lingard ahead of them. So, yeah. Let's not forget, Sanchez has been injured for Inter, so what's changed from the summer to now, says Rio Mia. Exactly, he's an injury-prone player as well. He's injury-prone as well, isn't he? The possible walkout on Saturday isn't seeming so bad now, is it? Says X-Robs. And I'm officially Ollie out after that presser. Gave him enough chances, the man has to go, says Bobby Mitchell. There is no future, Mark. It's an utter joke. Why aren't we focused what we want? And Gerard Twomey says, looks like the pressure is getting to Ollie. He is saying things to fill the gaps and kill time, it seems. Maybe Ollie knows he's going. I don't know. Maybe he's just playing a big elaborate game now. You know what? I've got to say, you've just made me think, Gerard, there. You know what it sounded like? And I really... Let me read these words back. So you're listening to a press conference, right? You're listening for what news on Man City. You're listening to news on transfers. And you're there writing your notes. And Ole Gunnar Solskjaer says, Alexi will come back in the summer and prove you all wrong. A journalist goes, excuse me? Like laughing. I dropped my pen and went, what? So I've never heard voices in my head. And I thought, what? Is that... Have I just heard that? Right. So I checked Twitter. Simon Peach says it's happened. But it's almost like... It is sort of a taking the piss line. It is. It's almost... It is. It came across like that as well. It was like he was taking the piss. It was like it really was. It was like he was like... It was like it was a joke. But it can't be a joke. You can't be Manchester United manager and make a joke about your most expensive player. You can't. So it has to be taken as real. And if it's real, it's crazy. It's absolutely off the planet to do it. I'm still stunned now. Leaving it late, so Bruno's the only signing, says Daniel. But I do think we'll sign Bruno Fernandes. I do. I know you can take it or leave it. I do think we'll sign him. I do. Totally off topic and just hypothetical, but would you take Adama Traore at United? Also, do you think we'll wait until deadline day for Bruno? Liam Brown, I think we are waiting until the end of this transfer window for Bruno, but it is only Tuesday. My hope is that we'll get him done by Thursday so we can play against Wolves. I've got a horrible feeling it'll be done on Friday and then he won't play. We can't play him against Wolves, which will probably be another 3 points dropped. Fernandes in, yes or no? When your ex-manager laughs at your transfers and makes a January transfer himself at Tottenham, you know it's an issue beyond Ollie, says AJ Ahmed. Look, the issues at Manchester United go way, way beyond Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I think we can all accept that. But unfortunately, when we spoke about it in the summer, we said, I said it, I don't ever want to say Ollie out. I'm going to back in. This is on the board. But unfortunately this season, Ollie, from that position of strength where the whole fan base would have backed him over the board and said it's not his fault, all he had to do was produce a team that was doing okay, where you went, well, it's doing okay, and if it got the signings, it would be doing even better. Unfortunately, he's produced bad football, bad sound bites, bad decisions, and he's sort of forced himself out of a job with a lot of United fans because he was in a position of comfort. Everybody was happy to put the blame on Glazers and the Woodward, and they still are. But unfortunately, Ollie's underachieved so badly in relation to his team selections, his tactics and everything like that. He's become part of the problem as well, which I think a lot of us never thought he would be. I would take Adama Traore, by the way, Liam Brown. I would, definitely. Definitely I would take him, because I think on the right-hand side, we're in rubbish. Anyway, I suppose that's the statement for today, isn't it? Give it time. Give Sanchez time. He's still got potential. I mean, left it late, so it's like a scapegoat not to get anyone else, as Daniel Ball. Oh, yeah, I've said that before, Daniel. I do believe that Manchester United have dragged this Bruno Fernandes deal out willingly. Now, whether they get it over the line or not, I don't know. But I think it's been to their advantage to let this drag out, because if they'd got him done 2 weeks ago, we would have been really happy for a few days, and then we would have been right, we need to do more. So however this works out, they'll either spend no money or the money they spend on Bruno and nobody else. Before January, would you have had Bruno or 2 other midfielders, says Carl Playcheck? I'm very selfish. I want Bruno Fernandes at Manchester United. And just for those who are joining us a little bit late, the update on Bruno Fernandes, because you won't get any from Ollie, is from media. That his manager has said that he doesn't know whether he's played his last game, but they'll resent losing him. There's still stalemate on the price. The price that Man United want to play is 45 million plus add-ons, and Sporting wants a little bit more than that. But there is a belief that the deal is just very close. It is just literally that last little bit. It doesn't mean it will get done, but it is close in relation to if it does fall apart. It's just because United won't pay what Sporting want, which isn't an unreasonable price. It isn't an unreasonable price at all. Now we have a manager that has no street cred. Ed and the Glazers can do what they want. Poor Ollie, the scapegoat, says Martin Bills. And Barcelona buying Bruno and loaning. I just need to get rid of you. You've been talking crap for ages. That's not true, by the way, what I was saying. And Randy Lee has probably come out with the most relevant comment. He says, Ollie's not bringing Alexis Sanchez back. Inter are sending him back. Exactly. Nobody wants Alexis Sanchez at Manchester United. Well, no one wants him at Manchester United, apart from Ollie, by the sounds of it. Nobody wants Alexis Sanchez anyway, because Alexis Sanchez is without doubt the worst football deal in football history, because he's the most expensive player in the Premier League. Alexis Sanchez is paid more than anybody in the Premier League. 400 grand a week. And Ed Woodward's still in a job. It's disgusting. And the same people are still pissing about on a deal for £4 million. They won't go up to £50 million from Bruno Sanchez. It's Bruno Fernandes, sorry. I'm going mad myself now. This is what this club does to you. Anyway, thanks for watching. Smash a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. We've got Flex and Rant show coming up at 1 o'clock, and then I'm back later on tonight. I think I'm probably doing an earlier show tonight. I think I'm live at about 7:30 tonight, because I'm doing a watch along for Leicester Villa on That's Football. But we will go live if there's anything else to report. That's one of the most surreal press conferences I've ever listened to. I cannot get over that statement. Alexis Sanchez will come back in the summer and prove you all wrong, from Manchester United manager Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. What are your thoughts? Thanks for watching. Speak to you soon.